Okay, so get this right. We've got this deep dive today, and it's about a gamer who, like, really misses a character that's not even in the game anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Interesting.
So our listener, Loki, his YouTube game is Bakbakia.
Okay.
He sent in his podcast script, and it's all about missing Buzz Lightyear in Brawl Stars.
Buzz Lightyear, huh?
Yeah. He even calls Buzz like a legend,
Wow.
a true embodiment of to infinity and beyond, he says.
I'm intrigued.
So, like, what makes this character so legendary?
Yeah, first of all, you really, would like to, give it a huge thank you to invite me onto this podcast to share my experience and to all those emotions that I've been through. I think this is a wonderful platform to share my feeling now, right?
Oh, wow. Well, Loki, we are so glad you're here with us.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you join the conversation.
And honestly, it's really great to hear how much this means to you.
It's like we're all about sharing those deep connections.
So, with all that in mind, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how certain characters just, I don't know, they become more than just pixels on a screen, right?
Yeah,
They
totally.
tap into something like deeper.
Yeah, our aspirations, maybe, or even just memories of, I don't know, simpler times.
It's true.
Yeah.
And Loki, you really lay it all out in this script.
Uh-huh.
Like, you talk about how much you loved playing as Buzz.
Yeah.
You know, the whole, like, Space Ranger vibe.
Yeah,
The feeling of power when you, like, unleashed his abilities.
right.
You even describe these moments where, like, you're about to be totally overwhelmed, and suddenly Buzz is just flying in, knocking down the enemies like they're toys.
The playing as Buzz for the first time was totally, wonderful experience. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe, but I'll try. Even I did not know that this Brawl Lightyears is absolutely free to experience. So one of my subscribers, he helped me out to get this one. And so when I first unlocked him, I was, very excited. I mean, Lightyear is such an iconic character from Toy Story, right?
Oh, that's fantastic, Loki. It's so cool to hear about that initial rush of excitement.
Yeah, it's like you totally get that feeling of discovery. You had no idea you could even play as Buzz, and then bam, he's yours.
What's fascinating here is that it highlights how a character can be elevated beyond just their in-game abilities.
Totally. It's not just about the mechanics, but the whole package, right?
Exactly. The nostalgia, the pop culture connection, like you said, he's an iconic character from Toy Story.
It all comes together to create this really powerful experience. You can practically hear the smile in your voice.
Having him, come into the Brawl Star universe felt like something special. In fact, the fact that he was a space ranger with that futuristic tech and vibe altogether, so fit right into the chaotic world of Brawl Stars. So that comes with three abilities, as you have mentioned already, I believe.
Oh, absolutely, Loki. It's like, it wasn't just about throwing any old character into the game.
Right. It sounds like they really thought about how Buzz's character fit into the whole Brawl Stars universe.
Yeah, like he wasn't just some random addition. He had this whole Space Ranger thing going on.
It's amazing how that design element can elevate a character beyond just their game mechanics.
Yeah. And it's cool that you call that the futuristic attack, too.
It really highlights the intentionality behind the character design, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that combo of abilities, the Space Ranger theme, it all came together so well.
It's like they were really crafting an experience, not just a character.
Definitely, Lightyear's play style was really unique compared to the other brawlers, because he wasn't just about dealing damage or being a tank, but he had this really tactical vibe. Like I mentioned earlier, his attacks, though powerful, felt more controlled, and he did not just spam his shots. There was this precision to how you had to approach fights. So and when you paired with his gadgets and super, he had this versatility that really stood out.
Oh, absolutely, Loki. That's a fantastic point.
Yeah, you're totally right. It wasn't just about brute force.
What's interesting here is that you're highlighting the tactical depth.
That's like the precision. You had to think about your shots.
Exactly. It wasn't just about spamming, like you said.
You had to approach fights strategically.
And when you pair that with the gadgets and the super,
Yeah, it really made Buzz stand out as unique.
it adds a layer of complexity and nuance.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit more.
Yeah, let's do it.
So like you mentioned the feeling of playing as Buzz for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And it sounds like it was more than just, the gameplay.
Right. It tapped into something deeper, like a connection to the Toy Story world.
And that's the power of good character design, isn't it?
Totally. It's about
Oh, yeah.
One more.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, one more, something that I would like to talk about here, that what I really appreciated about the Lightyears universe was that he wasn't just for aggressive players, but also for those who enjoyed a bit of strategy or other kind of fun, because I don't play, aggressively most of my time. I play just for fun with my subscribers. So you could make plays with him, whether you were positioning yourself well or using his abilities at the right time to change the flow of the match. It was just, it was nice change of pace from some of the more straightforward brawlers.
Oh, yeah, that's a really interesting point, Loki.
what's fascinating here is that it speaks to the flexibility of the character design.
Yeah, like Buzz wasn't just for the super aggressive players.
Exactly. He offered different ways to engage.
You could be all about that tactical gameplay if that's your thing.
Right. It's about creating a character that can cater to multiple playstyles.
So it wasn't just about rushing in, it was about timing.
It's about reading the game and making those strategic decisions.
Yeah, positioning yourself well, using his abilities at the right time.
And you're right, that's a nice change of pace.
It sounds like Buzz brought this element of versatility to the game.
It's not just about raw power, but smart power.
Right.
Okay, so let's keep unpacking this.
Yeah, let's do it.
It sounds like it was more than just, the gameplay.
Right. It tapped into something deeper, like a connection to the Toy Story world.
An experience that's like beyond just the mechanics.
Yeah, and in Buzz's case, it provided this sense of excitement.
The animation, if I talk about and his overall design, were amazing too, because the way his suit was animated, how his arms would extend it when using his laser, and everything had that Toy Story flair, but it was perfectly integrated into the Brawl Star world, and that really nailed the details, for me especially, which made him so much more fun to play. And that was the reason I'm missing this, this particular Brawl. And it wasn't just a random character they put in the game. I think it felt like Buzz had earned his spot in that Brawl Star universe.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up, Loki.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's all about those details.
The animation, the design, how his suit moved, how his arms extended for the laser.
Right. It's like they really nailed that Toy Story flair, like you said.
And that attention to detail is what really made him so special.
What's fascinating here is that it highlights how much care was put into his design.
It wasn't just a random character thrown in,
It's like he really had his place in the Brawl Stars universe.
Yeah, he really did. And that's why he feels so irreplaceable.
And it definitely adds to the reason why you're missing him so much.
Exactly. And it gets even more interesting when you compare your squad to Buzz.
Oh, yeah, tell me more.
You see your friends, Callum and Nate, and the rest of Bakbakia, as you call them,
Okay.
as sharing those same qualities. Determined, energetic, ready for anything.
Right. It sounds like a really tight-knit group.
You even compare their teamwork to Buzz's super.
Interesting. Tell me more.
They come together and make something epic happen.
So Buzz isn't just a character then, he's like a symbol.
It sounds like, a kind of mascot.
He represents this ideal of camaraderie and shared passion.
That's totally it. And he inspires you all.
Taking on the game with that same fearless attitude, like Buzz.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you wonder if we can even separate how we feel about a character from our experiences with friends when we're playing.
That's such a good point to bring up.
Yeah, I think it's always a mix of the two.
What I see here is, as a tough one, that I think Buzz is pretty unique in terms of his personality. And he was kind of this perfect balance between old school and kind of friendship play all together. And if I had to choose maybe someone like the EMC or...
That's a really insightful observation, Luke.
Yeah, it's like you've hit on something key there.
What's fascinating that you've noticed how Buzz managed to blend those two elements?
Sadly, it is hard to ignore that Lightyears is and his removal and his absence that he could avoid in the Brawl Star roster. And for me, so I often find myself using the through the battle hopefully one day maybe Lightyears might return to the arena game. But for now, I mean, I hold on to the memories this time again.
Absolutely, Loki. I completely understand that feeling.
Yeah, it's like you put it perfectly.
That void that's left when a favorite character is gone.
It's not just about the gameplay, it's the whole experience.
And you miss that specific sensation of being a space ranger.
Soaring through the battle with that Buzz Lightyear energy.
It's understandable that you hold on to the memories,
Yeah, it's like those memories become even more precious.
especially when you know that the character may never return.
And that's a great way to put it. It is tough.
It raises an interesting question about how we define legend.
And what makes a character reach that status in our minds?
It's definitely more than just in-game abilities, right?
Yeah, it's not just the gameplay, it's the feeling.
It's about how they make us feel and the stories we weave.
Okay, I'm tracking.
And you've shared how Buzz made you feel, Loki.
And it's clear he's like representing this whole ideal of heroism.
It's really something.
But there's also something else here, right?
What's that?
You keep using this word, legend.
Okay, Loki, that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, that's a great way to sum it up.
It's like he really did have a perfect balance
Between that classic old school Toy Story vibe,
and the kind of fresh new gameplay of Brawl Stars.
he was both familiar and totally unique at the same time.
So it sounds like if you had to choose, he'd still be a favorite.
Yeah, even amongst all the other characters.
Yes, I would say he has been my favorite, till now, and I just wanted to take a moment, and to say, a huge thank you for inviting me, and I really appreciate all the questions and the chance to discuss topic like these, topics that are close to my heart, and I think that's all from my end. I mean, I'm feeling really, happy and light at the same time because I have discussed all that I had, in my heart too, and that's it.
Oh, wow, Loki, that's so great to hear.
Yes, we're so glad that you're enjoying this conversation and that you felt heard.
Seriously, it means a lot to us that you're sharing these very personal feelings with us.
It's what makes this podcast so worthwhile, these connections we make.
And it's also what makes Buzz such an important character, all those feelings he inspires.
It really highlights how much he stood out to you.
Absolutely, I believe it was definitely bumper, when Lightyear was removed. I'll accept and I'll admit that there was a time when I was playing him pretty often, and he wasn't just a fun to play, but also a great way to relieve some of the old school memory from Toy Story. So when I heard he was going away, I was kind of heartbroken, to be honest. And he had this unique blend of old school memories, as I had mentioned already. So I mean that's okay. I'm hoping that he would be back very soon.
Oh, absolutely, Lucky. That really resonates.
Yeah, it's so powerful to hear you say that.
What's fascinating here is that you're describing him as a bumper.
Yeah, like he helped you connect with those old Toy Story memories.
It's like if presence was this link to the past.
And you really felt that heartbreak when you knew he was going away.
It highlights the emotional connection you had.
It wasn't just a character, it was a piece of your story.
Exactly. And it's that connection to our own past that makes a character legendary.
Yeah, it's not just about the gameplay, it's about feeling.
Right. And the specific feelings Buzz brought you.
And you were saying that the nostalgia plays a huge role.
Absolutely, in remembering those epic wins and clutch moments.
The times when a character felt absolutely unstoppable.
And that makes sense because you also said every time Buzz was in the arena, you knew something big was about to go down.
Yeah, it's that feeling, that energy he brought to the game.
Right, almost like Buzz brought his own narrative energy.
Exactly. He disrupted the expected flow, injecting this element of surprise. Okay, so Loki, it sounds like it was a real blow when they removed him.
Yeah, that sense of heartbreak you described really resonates.
It wasn't just a character, but a way to relive those Toy Story memories.
And that connection to nostalgia really amplified the impact, didn't it?
Absolutely. Like it's those moments where we felt like we were reliving something special.
And it's easy to get attached to a character that helps us do that. And when you combine that with the personal memories shared with friends.
Yeah, it's no wonder a character becomes legendary.
Yeah, it's more than pixels, a symbol of a certain time, a feeling.
Yeah, and he's a symbol of a chapter in your gaming journey.
Absolutely. And having a character like Buzz embody those ideas amplifies the feeling.
It's like he becomes a mascot for the team. Yeah. So we were talking about how nostalgia plays a role, right?
Exactly. Remembering those epic wins and clutch moments.
Those times when Buzz felt absolutely unstoppable.
It's like the character became an extension of those feelings.
He was more than just a game piece. He was an experience.
It really highlights how our experiences intertwine with our feelings.
And how a character can amplify those emotions.
It's not just about the gameplay itself.
Yeah, it's the whole feeling of it all.
And that's what makes Buzz such a legend in your mind, right?
Exactly. He embodies all these qualities, all the fun, all the connection.
And that's what really solidifies his place in your memory. Right, a rallying point for your passion, for your Bakbakia.
Okay, so we've got you, Loki, missing Buzz, wishing he was still in the game.
Yeah, he clearly means a lot to you, and not just because of how he plays.
You captured that so well in your blog post, too.
So Buzz might be gone from Brawl Stars.
But he's clearly still alive and well in your memory.
Yep.
And it makes him so irreplaceable, even with other characters in the game,
It really highlights the power of character design.
and how important it is to creating something special.
It all comes together to create a truly memorable experience.
Yeah, and it's clear that Buzz did that for you, Loki.
Absolutely. And thanks so much for sharing all of this with us.
Yeah, this has been amazing, Loki. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's been great to explore why Buzz meant so much to you.
Okay, that
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate all the questions and chance to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to hearing this final episode, and I can't wait for any future collaboration we might have together. And thanks again for the amazing opportunity. I'm excited to see where your podcast goes next, and I'll definitely be tuning in. Keep up the fantastic work, guys. Thank you.
Wow, Loki, that's incredibly kind of you to say.
It means a lot to hear that this conversation resonated with you.
Seriously, we're so happy you feel like you were able to share your thoughts.
And we're definitely excited about any potential collaborations in the future.
Yeah, it would be amazing to have you back on the podcast sometime.
We're both so glad you enjoyed this deep dive into Buzz.
So, with all that in mind, let's wrap up today's podcast.
Absolutely, and that's what we'll explore more of as we close out.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into this final bit.
How these characters, these legends, transcend the game itself.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. How does that even happen?
Which I think we should talk about a little bit more as a final thought.
Yeah, that's where you talked about your journey, right, Loki?
And how Buzz impacted your Brawl Stars experience.
So to deeper dive into all that we talked about today,
It provides a space to reflect on all those memories.
all those times you battled together and what it means to you.
And how they become a part of our personal narratives, what makes them stick with us.
Yeah, even long after we've moved on, right?
To other games and other challenges, it's like they're timeless.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We're almost there.
We're back, still unpacking this idea of legendary characters.
It's so fascinating how that all happens, isn't it?
So it's like a love letter to Buzz and the Bakwakia, really?
Yeah, exactly. And to close this out, I want to give a shout out to Buzz.
Absolutely, it's the least we can do.
Wherever you are, Buzz Lightyear, you're never forgotten.
And to our listener Loki, and his friends, of course.
This episode is for you and all the Bakbakia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Loki.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining the conversation today.
It's always special to hear the passion behind the game.
Exactly. It makes everything that much more enjoyable for us as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
And thanks again, Loki. This one is to infinity and beyond.
Until next time, and thank you again for everything, Loki.
Bye.
And it was inspired by you, Loki, and your love for Buzz Lightyear.
It's like Buzz went beyond being a character you played.
He became this